YouTube, what's going on? I apologize for this camera angle and the shaky camera. This is really just a test, kind of just a test video, just to kind of see where I'm at on this thing. So this is, what was it, 1976? 77 Pontiac Le Mans, as it were. Very nicely detailed engine in this guy. This is a cool little car. I'd really like to see it in a civilian deco. So as you can see in the background, I did get some stuff done. And that's kind of what this is testing. So I made the trees. They are homemade. This one here, I don't know. I really don't know what to think about it. These ones I think are okay, not great. So I don't know. I really do like the leaves on them though. From the right angle, they look far more realistic than any other trees that I have. Added a little bit of detail to the embankment as well. So that's what this video is, just to kind of feel all that out and test it out. But I figure in the meantime, we got to look at some cars too. So anyways, 1977 Pontiac. Wheel wells on this look a little goofy. They look a little Johnny Lightning-ish. But I would I'd still like to get this in a civilian deco. It does have nice headlights though. Nice insert headlights here. This is from Greenlight, Hollywood. Don't recall which series, but it's from Smokey and the Bandit. Okay. This right here is quite possibly my favorite Dodge Charger that Greenlight's done. It may not be. Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, is that what that was called? I like that one quite a bit. They have some other really nice ones too that I don't have. But I do like the way this one looks. The color on this with the black vinyl top. It's like, I don't know what kind. It's a brownish color. I definitely wouldn't call it a root beer color. It's not dark enough. Really just like a metallic flake brown. Nice wheels too. These are prototypical wheels. Tires are too fat. But that's alright. It's the nicest Dodge Charger in the scale. Much nicer than anything we've seen from Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Johnny Lightning. I personally like it much better than the M2 as well. I'd have to say the same thing too for the Charger Daytona. I like their Charger Daytona Greenlight the most. But with that one, it's not as clear. It's not as cut and dry because the Ertl American Muscle is really nice. And actually, the M2, if the Auto Driver M2 is really nice. The one that doesn't have the opening doors. Here's the front of the car. Excellent detail. You've got your detailed indicators there underneath the grille. Your hidden headlights. Really nice car. It's got a nice stance. It's just sharp looking. This lighting is unfortunate. Doesn't do it any justice. It's one thing about the layout here. I'm gonna have to go back to the way it was with the road heading towards the skyfelt over there. I need the road running north and south. I've got it running east and west. But the lighting from the other angle is much better. So I do need to get back to that. This is I don't know if this is a Ram Charger or a Trail Dust. Okay, so this is a Dodge Ram Charger. Let's see, they're over here getting their game plan, getting ready to launch. And to do that, they just need to come down over here. And then they can get into the water, which this couple here has already done. Back to the diecast. And guys, these are cars we've looked at a million times. This is more of a layout video for me. This is the new M2 Ford F100 pickup. I like this truck a lot. This is definitely a PC keeper for me. And for those of you that don't know what that means, it's a personal collection keeper. Now, the truck here comes with molded plastic wheels that are white. The plastic is molded in white. And I couldn't deal with it because it looks so cheap. If they were painted white, I could probably work with it. But when they're molded in white plastic, there's almost like a little bit of a translucence characteristic to them. And I just couldn't do it. So I had to take the paint pen to the wheels. So I think it looks quite a bit better like this than it did with those awful white wheels. And if you guys are wondering, the paint pen that I used, it's a cheap one that you can get at Walmart. It's only like $3 or $4. It's this one here. It is the ultra fine tip. Let me show you what ultra fine gets you. Ultra fine is not all that fine, but it's fine enough that you can get a nice cover. You just got to be careful with the wheels. For me personally, I push the wheels back. I take the tires off the rim by pushing them back that way in towards the differential. And then I paint the wheel, and then I pull the tires on from the back of the wheel. Because the thing is, if you pull the tires off of the wheel completely towards you, that's fine. You can get a nice paint job on the wheel. But when you put the tire back onto the wheel, you're going over the paint. And depending on how long you let it cure and how much friction is created when you do it, you might rub some of the paint off. I've had that happen to me a few times, so I always go off towards the back. And that way, when you're pulling the tires back onto the wheel, you're pulling towards you, but you're not forcing the tire over the part you just painted. Nice casting, though. Really nice casting, particularly with the lifted suspension. I'm not a fan of this, actually, with the two-wheel drive. For me, it's got to be a 4x4. All right. I like the shade that those trees provided. It seems quite nice. It just kind of created just a little bit of a canopy. Let's look at a couple of Volkswagens here. So this is going to be the final thing that I'm going to do. Gotta fix that. I think I am just going to redo the entire road because I dropped some glue right there. So I think I'm going to take some steel wool and just clean it up as good as I can. And then what I'm not sure of is if I'm going to do another layer of plaster. I really should because it needs more strength. Anyways, some more awesome castings from Greenlight here. These are some Volkswagen castings. We have the split window Beetle, which is my favorite Greenlight Beetle tooling. I like the other one too, but I like the detail of the split window because you get the lens headlight detail. In this particular case, it's a 1948. Also, you get the opening bonnet with the split window. You don't get that with the other one. So, opening bonnet and the opening trunk. Or turtle beak, as I call it, because that's what it looks like to me. Looks like a big old turtle beak. But really cool little casting with the luggage rack. Nice wheel choice on this one. And pretty awesome. And then the square back. This is one of Greenlight's newer toolings. It just debuted within the last 6 months, I think. And it's a very nice casting as well. It doesn't have an opening hood, but you do get lens headlights. You do get prototypical wheels. In this case, you get tinted privacy glass. You get an opening hatch, which is pretty cool. You don't see that in a lot of die cast. All of these so far have come complete with the trailer hitch. And some of these have come with the luggage rack. This particular release did not. That's alright though. It's a really nice little casting. I like it quite a bit. It's pretty well proportioned. The stance is okay. I think it's a little high, but other than that, I think it's pretty good. I don't think the wheels set too far inside. You know, I don't get that goofy factor from that like I do from the 240Z or from that. This one wouldn't be bad. It just seems like the wheel wells are too big. And then this thing is awesome. This is like a little, just a little hippie van, Type 2. And I've got a few of these. I don't have many. I don't honestly care all that much for Volkswagens in general, so I don't buy a whole lot of them. But I have a few decent examples of each one. My favorite of this casting is the Field of Dreams. I think I mentioned that in a previous video. I really dig that van. The one from the Lost film reel is my second favorite. Not the one from the Hollywood release. It has to be from the film reel because that's the one that's roached out. And they did a great job rusting it. I might show that. I've shown it before, but I'll show it again if you guys want me to. But with this one, I just like the deco. It's very 1970s groovy. And the year on the van here is 1978. And the colorway on the van is a dead giveaway for a 1970s release. But it's like an orange on brownish red, a little bit of like a Dijon mustard color. And then you got the orange steelies with the chrome disc hubcaps, chrome bumper, side view mirrors. Very, very nice detail. Got the tail lights highly detailed. And this one has a great stance to it. Pretty accurate looking, I think. Nice thin tires, as they would have been. The front end on this looks really good too, because you get the lens headlights. The indicators are detailed. Chrome bumper. So it's a really nice piece. Part of why I like the Field of Dreams one so much too is because it has the luggage rack, which the luggage rack on that van is the luggage rack that I've used to convert two of my other castings into off-road castings with safari racks. It's the rack that I use to make the safari racks. So only got a couple, well, yeah, only one more to look at here. And that is a 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle. It's number 3130. This is from Barrett Jackson. It's an early Barrett Jackson. This is years ago, years and years ago, probably 2012 or prior. Before Greenlight switched factories, let's put it that way. It has the green post, and it's a sweet casting. I love this Chevelle. Greenlight has the best second generation Chevelle by far. By far. Even their third gens are the best. The first gen I would definitely give to Ertl American Muscle, although the Greenlights aren't terrible. But for the second and third gen, there's no comparison in my mind. No one else even comes close. There's really nothing with this car that they could have done better other than scaling the tires appropriately. And also lens, headlights, and taillights. But one thing you have to remember with Greenlight, when Greenlight started, diecast collecting wasn't nearly what it is today. Wasn't even close. Didn't have even close to the popularity that it has today. And so with Greenlight, like Johnny Lightning at the time, and I think this was a little before him too, but Castline might have been getting started. Accuracy and scale weren't really all that important. In fact, I remember when I started collecting, people hated Auto World because they hated the skinny tires. It took a lot of people some getting used to get scaled tires on their castings. But people have caught on to it, and I think people appreciate that realistic aspect of them. But the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of these Greenlight castings were already tooled before the diecast craze, and so you get really wide tires because of it. But if you look at the cars they've been making recently, like this one for example, not nearly as wide. Same thing with the Volkswagen here, not nearly as wide. The Nissan cars, not nearly as wide. Even the newer muscle cars, like the Gran Torino, the Falcon XB, they've gotten so much better with the tire size proportions. So, that's part of why the Dodge Charger that we just looked at has such wide tires on it. Because it's an old casting. This is one of Greenlight's first toolings. I mean, look right there, GL030. It's tooling number 30. Now, keep in mind, they have around 130 toolings, so that's an early one. This is probably even an earlier tooling. GL028 came out probably pretty close to the same time as the Charger. But man, they just hit a home run with this car, because as you can see here, I'll get it away from that. The stance is, it really couldn't be better in my mind, other than not having such wide tires. The way the tires sit inside the wheel well, to me, is perfect. The height to me is pretty darn close to perfect. I just really like this casting. And when they did this with the Smoky Eunuch Deco, for Talladega Nights. At that time, that was it for me for Greenlight. That was their best car that they'd ever done up until that point. But this is a casting I really like. I probably have between this one and the next body style from 70 to 72, I probably have 15 or 20 different models. Most of those, probably 3/4 of those, are probably this body style, the 68, 69. So, anyways, that's it. I just wanted to do a video just to see how the backdrop would look. Because I really do think I'm pretty darn close to being done. I really, at this point, just need to do the road and then just a few more trees. Another plus, though, you know, as I've mentioned in other videos recently, this is the first layout that I've used foam. Every layout I've done before that where I had elevated terrain, I used paper and plaster cloth. But another huge benefit of using foam, other than the fact that you can shape the land to whatever you want, is putting trees in. Like, I didn't even have to glue these in. I just poked them through because there's just a layer on top of glue mixed with grout and rock. And so you have a really hard crust on top. So you just poke a hole through, and then you just jam the little branch down in there, and you're good to go. These trees were made with real branches that I found in my parking lot at work, and then I just grabbed some undergrowth from Hobby Lobby, and that's all I used to make these trees. I have some other branches, but before I did that, I took and painted on some matte colored Mod Podge just to give it an exoskeleton, to give it strength. And believe me, it gave it a ton of strength. I broke this branch off to cut, just to shorten it, and it was a chore. So that method definitely works. But with the branches that I have not yet given them their Mod Podge exoskeleton. So I need to do that. But I do have the leaves to put on them once I get that done. Because I'm probably only going to use another 2, maybe 3 of the homemade trees, and then I'm going to just fill in the rest with the other pre-made trees. But anyways, that's it. That's the whole point of the video. Just wanted to get an idea of what this is going to look like with the trees. And the other detail, the root detail added to the embankment. I'm not real sure how I feel about the roots, but I suppose they probably are relatively accurate. By the way, the roots are just, they're real roots from my backyard. I just pulled one weed, and I got all these roots from one weed. And I still have all of that to spare. All of that is too big, though. It's not scaled right. So, all right, everyone. Thanks again for checking it out. You guys have a great Monday. Don't work too hard this week. And I'll holler at you all at the next diecast video.